we were doing that today.
Hi! And
Hey!
welcome to this new episode of Almost Every Sonic, our weekly-ish streaming program about playing every Sonic game. Almost. And for some reason, we've reached the bottom of the barrel on the third episode, so...
Yes.
I gave Alex... Well, I should say I left an open platform for my guest Alex Peel to kind of choose something. He was interested in maybe doing something in the 8-bit area of Sonic games, which means things like the Master System or the Game Gear. And what did you select for us this evening, Alex?
I selected one of the first Sonic games I ever beat, Sonic Blast for the Game Gear.
Oh, lordy, you sure did pick something for us to start with.
In fairness, I could have gone worse, but, you know, when I picked this, I thought I was going with something boring. I forgot what happened the last couple levels of this game.
Yeah, this game has some stuff in it.
I don't know how 11-year-old me beat this thing.
Well, essentially, to just sort of kick off what this game is about-ish. So this was developed by Aspect, which was a developer that Sega seemed to go to for quite a few of the Sonic Game Gear games, Master System ports, and even a Sega Pico game as well.
Ooh, I wasn't aware of the Pico game.
Yes, they did Sonic's Game World, or something similar to that. It's not as, we'll say, well known as Tales in the Music Maker, as far as any Sega Pico game is known.
I knew about this one before the Tales one, so
sure. But things like Tails Adventure, Sonic 2 Game Gear / Master System, Sonic Triple Trouble, I don't think Labyrinth.
Yeah, I don't believe there were Labyrinth.
But I believe there were a couple others. They don't exist anymore. They kind of evaporated in 2018, but they also did a couple things in later consoles. They did a lot of the Naruto Ninja Council games for GBA and DS, and they also did that Disney sequel to Medios.
Huh. I was not aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Something about this game, though, I would say is probably of their output is on the... Is it too harsh to call it the crappier end? Because I'm tempted to call it the crappier end.
Personally, I think that some of their Sonic games are range from good to quite good, especially Triple Trouble. But this one is definitely at the bottom of the barrel for their Game Gear stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just sort of start to get into it. But first, I had a surprise for you, Alex.
Oh my!
Something that I picked up on Amazon recently that I think would go well with our big hour-long discussion of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So how would you like to participate in some Sonic the Hedgehog, the official movie, Mad Libs?
Mad Libs with you, huh?
Mad Libs with me. I'm not really giving you a choice, but...
Oh, okay. It's good to know I don't have free will.
Oh, you never had free will. Let's be honest. I never gave you that option. So, I have some things up on the screen here, and we will reveal them as we go ahead and continue making this story. Let's make sure I set all of the proper things, including the most appropriate font for something as funny as Mad Libs, Comic Sans.
Just so long as I can read it. You didn't do this on your past videos. What the heck?
Oh, that's because I didn't have this yet.
Oh, it's not because this game is only like 45 minutes? Whoops.
Also, yes, this is kind of a shorter game as well. Comic Sans is somewhere around here. I have too many fonts.
I'm just trying to figure out how to full screen the Twitch app right now.
Oh, don't worry. I'll read
There
it
we
for
go.
you. Okay.
Okay.
So starting off, Alex, give me a verb.
Let's see. You're really. Let's see.
Yeah, we're doing this. Come on, you're putting too much thought into it. It's a Mad Libs. Give me a verb.
Well, let's see.
I'll start you off. Thinking. Okay, give me a color.
Red.
Give me an adverb.
Well, let's see. Hot.
Give me a number.
7.
Give me a part of the body.
Oh, let's keep this PG. So, a tushy.
Give me a celebrity.
Let's see. Jaleel White.
Give me a plural noun.
Let's see. Geese.
Give me an adjective.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Let me come on, something good.
It's so difficult.
I'm sorry,
you might mess up this Mad Lib. You said it's a beautiful masterpiece.
Let's go with fat.
Give me a vehicle.
What did I think James Bond do? Rolls Royce. Wait, no, close enough.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin, but I still want to go with the Rolls Royce because that's what my brain came up with.
Okay, in true Mad Libs fashion, I am going to terribly misspell this.
I mean,
too bad.
Rolls Royce isn't that hard to spell.
Well, too bad. I probably spelled it wrong, but that's what you get. Give me an adverb.
Let's see. Smelly.
Give me a number.
2.
Give me a color.
Beige.
Give me an article of clothing.
Oh, let's see. Nah.
I got one. I got one for this one.
All right.
Novelty Puma sneakers. Give me a noun. You can look around your room.
Let's see.
If this is an improv, you'd be booed off the stage by now.
I didn't know I'd be doing this today.
Give me a verb.
Cat. Okay. Love.
Give me a plural noun.
Puppies.
And finally, give me an adjective.
Let's see.
Hey, Twitch chat, we're going to move this over here.
Slow.
Oh, Reef, thank you for joining us. Yes, I know Rolls Royce is spelled wrong. This is a Mad Libs. You're not really supposed to be spelling things right, if I remember them how you're supposed to work as a kid. You're just supposed to do a really crappy job and get a really bad story out of it. In fact, let's find out what we got here as we tell the story of Life as a Secret Hedgehog. When people can't thinking you, life is pretty lonely. Take it from me, a red hedgehog from another planet. Just like my OC. Thankfully, I find ways to use my time hot. In addition to exercising 7 hours a day, I love to listen to music. One of my favorite songs is Don't Go Breaking My Tushy by Jaleel White and the Geese, my favorite band. The music can't get too fast, or else I'll end up back in the back of a police Rolls Royce. To keep myself hidden, I never walk too smelly. I run at 2 miles an hour at all times. I also like to go out when the sky is beige to work on my tan. The perfect temperature for a tan, beige. Sometimes I wear a novelty Puma sneakers as a joke, just because nobody can see me anyway. At the end of the day, I just want a cat to talk to. I wish I had a friend I could love and talk to about our puppies. This is a Sonic Boom episode at this point. Instead, I will continue to keep myself slow and run off this energy. Ta-da! Yay. Mad Libs, they're always good and never, never a terrible game that children love to play. So let's go ahead and play us some Sonic Blast.
Finally.
So Alex, how are we playing this game specifically? What is our method?
Well, we're using the best Sonic character, Knuckles the Echidna.
I didn't know Blaze the Cat was in this one.
I said Knuckles the Echidna. Oh, Echidna, Chris. It's too late to say that. I already answered the question. It's Knuckles the Echidna, and we're hopefully not going to collect the Chaos Emeralds because...
We're going to try.
No, I really don't want to.
Well, we're going to try regardless.
Because when you collect the Chaos Emeralds, we'll see, but it's really annoying. So,
sure.
Anyway, for me, I think 60% of the reason why I liked this as a kid is because this was the only Game Gear game where Knuckles was playable. And since I was also a major portable Sonic gaming person at the time, I was all yeah, I'm ready for some Knuckles on my Game Gear, man. I can finally do this wherever I want.
So you're going to know some stuff right away, and this game seems to... How should I put this? It doesn't look good. It could arguably look good for a Game Gear game, but you also see some weird stuff like this that's going on right here, where it doesn't really have proper layering.
They tried to give this a 3D perspective.
Yes, This game, I believe, came out 2 years after Donkey Kong Country, and the weird thing is Donkey Kong Country was a big deal. It is sometimes attributed as the game that had Nintendo win that console war. Just mostly, and that's the kind of thing, is because its graphics are a lie. It's not really a 3D rendered game. They basically took 3D models, actual 3D models, and compressed them into sprites to make a platformer.
Pre-rendered graphics, basically.
With pre-rendered graphics, yes. Which basically means, they're using old technology, but they're kind of cheating and giving it a unusual aesthetic. Which, sure, I mean, it's technologically impressive if you don't know any better, but I don't know. This game seems to want to ape that. It seems to be banking slightly on, we'll say, the release of Sonic 3D Blast, which came out the same year. And, it came out on the Game Gear, which is an 8-bit system. Yeah.
Not capable of pre-rendered graphics in the same way the Super Nintendo is.
Well, a couple of issues that you run into it is it doesn't have as many colors available to it as a 16-bit console. And you can kind of tell looking at this Knuckles sprite, hey, it sort of looks like it's trying, but it doesn't have the shading that a much better, that a Donkey Kong Country character would have.
I will say this, the effect does work a bit better on an actual Game Gear screen. But like, I think that for a Game Gear game, this is impressive. But
in context, yes.
Yes. But like then but they sacrificed too much to make it happen. Like, look, the sprites are massive even by Game Gear standards.
Yeah, like we're playing the Game Gear version. There is a Master System version that we will play at some point that actually is a little bit more playable, if for no other reason than because the screen has a higher resolution. Like, look how big Knuckles is compared to the whole of the screen. Like, I can't see very much, which runs into issues of other limitations of this game, which is enemies respawn once you leave the screen, which is not great. It's very hard to look ahead. You'll notice, looking at this screen, Knuckles is just flat in the center, which means I can see a lot of stuff behind me for no particularly good reason, but I can't see much in front of me, which makes it really a big pain to play. There's some stuff later in the game that gets incredibly cheap.
And like, Sonic Game Gear games have always kind of had an issue with screen dimensions, but it was never as pronounced as it was in this game.
So, what? I just entered the special stage. This... It wants to be Sonic 2, but also Sonic and Knuckles. But it can't. Like, I suppose props to try making, like a Space Harrier type display on an 8-bit system, but Space Harrier on Master System also didn't look very good.
And like, just in terms of special stages on Game Gear games, this is like the most banal one they ever made. On the bright side, these do tend to be kind of easy because they move so slow.
Yeah.
But like, compared to what they did in Triple Trouble, where they like had airplane stages and actual levels and stuff to go through, this is just kind of boring, which I think kind of summarizes the entire game. When you're being charitable, it's boring.
Kind of slow, kind of difficult to control, and just uninspired, we'll say.
And one frustrating thing that I recently rediscovered about these special stages is that they don't always have Chaos Emeralds.
No, actually,
sometimes they just have lives.
Yeah, the rule for this game is there is one bonus ring in a stage that will take you to a special stage. If you're on Act 1, you'll get the chance to get an extra life. If you're on Act 2, that'll give you a chance to get the emerald. Also, if you miss any of the rings, you cannot get all the emeralds in the game. Also, if you fail to beat one of the special stages at any point, you cannot get all the emeralds in the game. This is something that several of the Sonic Game Gear games had going on. That you had one chance to try to get all of the emeralds in the game, and if you can't get them all in a run, then you just can't get them. Like, you only have one chance at any one point, and it involves some sort of hidden thing.
Triple Trouble gives you at least one chance for each act. So it's not as bad as this game is. Although, one thing about this game when I was playing through the special stages for this, it kept sending me back to the beginning of the stage. Does that only happen when you fail? Or
the arrow boxes are your checkpoints.
Oh yeah. Also,
the Robotnik sprites are also very, very large in this.
Yes.
He has some really weird bosses in this one. Like,
well, there are a couple weird ones.
No, there's some real weird ones. Like, wait until we get the boss of World 2.
Oh, I remember that one very well. Like I did not know what the heck that was when I was a kid.
It's an interesting interpretation of something from Asian mythology, we'll say.
Son Goku.
There is some neat effects though. Like I'll give it this. I noticed this as I was playing was as you walk, you actually kick up a bit of sand, which is sort of impressive for an 8-bit game.
Yeah.
Although I thought you also do it on the palm trees here too for some reason. So yeah. But one of the things that's kind of hard to express as I'm playing is the controls aren't great. It's very... The characters are very slippery. I would say even more so than some of the other Game Gear games.
That becomes a big problem in one of the later stages where you have to land on these tiny little platforms to get anywhere.
Yeah. So if I remember correct, I go through here. And as Knuckles, I can climb up here. And let's try to get... Am I on Act 1 or Act 2? I forget. Anyway, let's try to get whatever's at the end of this. It might just be an extra life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember this one specifically. This one's worthless.
Okay, come on. Do I have enough? Almost.
In the area
Yes,
of the game
50.
you're in right now, this is the part of the game I
Extra
tend
life.
to remember.
That's okay. I'll need these extra lives. If for no reason, then I know I will be dying a lot in a couple worlds.
Yeah. But the part of the game we're in right now is the part of the game I've tended to remember from because like these were the levels I played the most, and so like these are just like painfully boring. Like there's very little level design to any of these.
There's not, but there is... I would say these are probably closer to more traditional Sonic levels than we will see later in the game.
Oh yeah, like at least these are playable.
These have some light design, like hey, there's multiple paths, there's a bunch of rings, there's a lot of hills, there's some badniks here and there, and generally speaking, you're going from left to right, with a handful of exceptions.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you kind of noticed what just happened here, is after we went through the special stage, I believe it did kick us back right to the very beginning of the stage, because the bonus ring is really close to the end. Although, like, you can tell, I would say, despite it being, sharing a name with, Sonic 3D Blast, it's very much closer in design, or in, like, aesthetics to, Sonic and Knuckles. Partially because, yeah, you're being Knuckles, but also, if you look at some of the stage choices, they're closer to what you would have seen in Sonic and Knuckles versus Sonic 3D Blast. We're in a tomb. There's some bats from Sonic 3.
The 8-bit games tended to take inspirations from whatever the most recent Sonic games were.
Really?
And a bunch of like Sonic Triple Trouble definitely does take does try to follow Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 a little bit in its own right. You know, with how Knuckles is kind of the pervasive villain throughout the game.
Yeah, I guess you would say, like, that one would probably be closer to Sonic 3 versus this one, which is probably closer to Sonic and Knuckles then.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of...
And, like,
I can
technically, like, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, in terms of gameplay, were a lot closer to the original Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this correctly. Okay. Then I go right. No, I probably should have gone left. Okay. Is this... Oh, there we go. Correct one. Yeah, some of these are just kind of... They're not so These early levels aren't so complex that you can't get some of the special rings, but some of the later ones are a little bit more demanding.
I can usually blast through these early levels in like less than a minute, and then we get to the third stage, and it's like the third group of the third level. It's just
some changes in like between like the third and fourth, where it's like, oh, this is very different.
Right, fourth stage.
Oh, did I get enough? Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So I can at least get 3 of the emeralds.
You did better than I did on my last run, so congratulations.
Yeah, Jason in the chat kind of brings up an interesting thing that, like, it looks like the characters are pre-rendered. It doesn't really look like the stage elements are pre-rendered at all.
Well, yeah, there's no way the Game Gear is going to be able to handle all of that.
Well,
it's just...
I mean, it depends. Like as we kind of said, it's not really about rendering a complicated sprite. It's just the amount of, like, hey, how many colors can we show at a time?
And speaking of colors, while the Master System version of this is probably more, it's also a noticeable graphical downgrade because it just doesn't have the color capabilities of a Game Gear. It
doesn't. However, you do sort of make up for it by having a much bigger resolution.
I have actually played a bit of the Master System version. Unfortunately, wasn't really able to engage me much more than the Game Gear version.
Well, I mean, well, there's only so much you can do for this game. So, I love this boss because for whatever reason, in the desert level, Robotnik has decided, okay, yeah, here's my Journey to the West robots. What? Why? Like, right down to, I don't know, here's a spear, it's gonna extend or whatever, I don't know.
I mean,
it's very bizarre.
At this point, I guess this was like Aspect's fourth Sonic game at this point, so they're running out of ideas.
When you defeat him, his ponytail flies off. Yeah, Reef makes sense. Yeah, they had to go through a desert in Journey of the West, but yeah, I don't know.
I think that's stretching it, Reef.
Did they have to go through an Egyptian tomb? Or whatever the Sonic equivalent of Egypt is?
I think this is like the only other example of a volcanic level in a Sonic game. Like, there's this and Lava Reef, right? I mean,
I think this is...
2D Sonic games, I mean. 2D.
I think this is intended to be inspired by Lava Reef, except it's bright purple. Like, you can't get away from it. It's extremely purple.
I will say this about this level: it does have like one of the few half-decent level gimmicks in the game. Like, it does do something interesting to try to differentiate itself.
I'm curious which level gimmick you're referring to.
Well, there's a couple. You guys jumped off of one of them.
I jumped off this very weird. I don't know. It looks like a play school.
I think I just assumed. To me, it just looked like a machine that fired a dog bowl up into the air. That's how I always saw it. Oh, hey, you got the shield right now.
Yeah.
This is also the only example of one of the only examples of a shield in an 8-bit Sonic game. Like, it's also the shield in the original, I think.
Well, the issue we kind of face with the shield is, the way that they handled the shield in other Sonic games is, they used this transparency illusion, built around the frame rate, that the shield only sort of animated on, or appeared on every other frame, so that as it was animating, it kind of made it look like it was, transparent. But they can't really do that with a game like this.
Yeah, like, in Sonic 1 they tried and it just made everything look very glitchy. So stop it for a while, I believe. This is the first time shields have been. This is the only other example of a Game Gear Sonic game with a shield. And hey, he just jumped off of the other gimmick, that weird air compressor thing.
Yeah, I don't know, this is a weird thing. I'm also going to run into the issue where it's going to be hard for me to use this to get up there, just because there's...
Oh, yeah, I had lots of issues with this. It was a huge pain in the butt. You know, you could probably just skip it if you want to, unless there's a ring up there.
I don't know. I don't believe there's a bonus ring there, so... Jason in the chat asks, what do the arrow down boxes do? Those are your checkpoints, instead of having the... what's it called? The star posts.
Yeah, that's how the 8-bit Sonic games always did their checkpoints.
You kind of find patterns of design in these ones. That's how they represent the checkpoints. This is also a game where you don't... Oh, I hope I'm not gonna die. Okay. You'll also have that you won't lose all of your rings whenever you get hit. Partially because, hopefully because, you get hit constantly whenever you can't look forward, but the other reason being that they can't render the rings just flying out of you in the same way that they could on the Genesis. There's too many sprites on the screen, so instead they just sort of, hey, you lose 10, 5 will appear, do what you can. But it does make some of the bosses slightly more manageable because you're only going to lose 10 at a time.
Yeah, I always had difficulties getting my rings back in this game, so that is appreciated at least.
So let's see if I can get the third here.
Come on, Chris, I believe in you.
Ah! Oh, this is bad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it this run.
Oh, well. It's not so bad, Chris. I haven't gotten the Chaos Emeralds in this game either.
Well, we're probably going to have 2 runs of this game.
Oh, right, yeah.
just because it's a short enough game to be able to do that.
I mean, it depends on whether or not you get stuck on that water level.
Yeah! Oh, man! Man!
Okay. Oh, wow, 2 rings short. My screen finally caught up. So goddamn close.
Well,
Eggman. At least people got to see Eggman. What happened when you know dead? Eggman flies in and steals it.
Which is probably the most justification that you ever get in a Sonic game as to why you don't get the Emerald at the end.
Ah, here's the 3rd level gimmick, which I think is taken straight out of Lava Reef, right?
Yep. Except, like, it's slower, and, well, I mean, like, everything in this game is slower.
Ooh, climb up and get those rings. Aw. You know, you haven't been using Knuckles' abilities very...
I try here and there, it's just... I'm in really small, what's it called? Really small corridors in this game.
Yeah.
Like, once we leave this stage, I will be using his abilities quite often, if for no other reason than it becomes much more difficult to progress. Like, we're done with big open spaces. Like, we're down to, okay, here's a bunch of small corridors now.
I will say this is probably the best level in the game.
Yeah, probably.
This is usually the level where I stop playing, which I think contributes to my positive memories of this game.
I have to imagine then you only really got, like, what, like 15 minutes sessions in on this game, or what?
Oh, well, 20, I think, maybe 30.
Yeah, it's...
Like, keep in mind I was a kid at the time.
Well, I mean, that would be about how long the Game Gear batteries would last.
Hey, that's not true.
It took 6 of them.
But I've only ever beaten this game twice. Once was today, and the first time was years ago. I think I was watching Sonic Underground at the time. To give you an idea of how long ago that was.
That's...
Yes, I was watching Sonic Underground and playing Sonic Blast.
So
that was my morning.
What I'm trying to do here is, I'm trying to place, like... I don't necessarily know how old you are, and I've never asked. But what age would that put you at?
I think 12, maybe 13.
You know what? I'd give you that. You know what? Sure. Like, at 12 or 13, like, even I watched a lot of questionable stuff just because it was on TV and that's what you had.
Like, 1999, okay, I may have been 11, but 13 at the oldest. Because I know that Sonic Underground was a 99 show.
Yeah, I didn't discover...
Man, you were getting all ready to judge me. You getting ready to judge Teenage Knuckles, weren't you?
Oh, jeez.
Here we go.
Now this is like a... Now we're getting to, like, anime, this is like, I'm trying to think of what this specific type of, like, statue is called. Like, I think, like, there's a Pokemon that's supposed to look like this, I think.
Man, I kinda know what you're talking about, but, man.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Reef says it's a pop-up toy, or... Oh, at 12 or 13, he walked Gundam Wing. Oh, yeah. Gundam Wing sucks. Just getting that out there now.
I'm not getting into the... I'm not getting involved in any arguments over which are and are not the good Gundams.
I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of Gundam in general, but I tried Gundam Wing. I could not get in.
Okay, there we go.
The boss.
I love his victory pose.
Aren't they?
His victory pose.
He's
It's like
punch in the air.
They took the Sonic and Knuckles one of like, and then they just put it on a really, really short loop, so it looks like he's just.
Well, fun fact about the victory animation, that's also just a static animation. Just let him sit there for a minute. So.
I can't imagine going any slower in this game.
And this is where I always stop playing, aside from that one time.
Welcome to hell, people.
This is one of the, and now that I've played this again recently, I've discovered one of the worst 2D Sonic levels. I can only say one of, oh god, you've already gotten to one of the most.
Oh, I've gotten into the loop. I at least figured out how to manage this loop. So, here's the thing about this stage. Number one, there's a lot of invisible currents. Number two, it starts to get maze-like. Number three, in water, you go slower. You already go incredibly slow in this game. Number four, the controls are very slippery.
Oh, you almost had it. God damn it.
I stopped paying attention.
For this. I don't know how I had the patience for this when I was a kid. Like, wow.
What you have to do is, at the end of that pipe, you have to jump, like, right as you're exiting. Otherwise, you do get trapped. Let's see if I can get the proper... Okay.
You can. Actually, you could just glide over there if you're careful not to get hit in the current.
Okay. Okay. And
You
glide.
can do it.
And up. We did it!
Now you just have to
That's
hope
not
that
the
when
most annoying one.
there we are.
It gets worse in Act 2.
And yeah, those are the tiny platforms I was referring to. And you have to land on them underwater.
In Act 2, there's, like, no above-water sections. It's... No, stop current! Oh,
Now,
you tease!
one fun thing about this level, which I figured out by accident because I was like just stuck in here for so long. When you go into the pipes, you do get air.
You do. That's one of the very few ways, because it has air bubbles like classic Sonic, like Genesis Sonic games, but there aren't a lot of them. And they can sometimes be hard to see in the 8-bit graphics. Like right here, you can sort of see, but you could really easily mistake this for a background object.
You're about to die. No, you are gonna die. Probably already. Oh, there we are.
No,
just a reminder, I am a couple seconds behind here.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's so slow.
Oh, hey, there's a checkpoint up there. Can you do it?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's also the level where
it's great that I got that checkpoint. That was a really great checkpoint for them to give me right there. Really useful if I would have died in the 5 seconds after.
Next level designing Sonic Blast.
It's what in God's name was that? Why did they feel the need to put that there?
And if you think that's bad, I couldn't even get to the checkpoint in this level. Well, the first one anyway.
Oh, this...
I was trying to get up there and I goddamn drowned. I started using save states.
This level is... Oh, this is the worst one. Like... this was a very poorly conceived level.
Yeah.
Because you're slower, you're going through a maze, the controls are slippery, they want you to be very accurate, and they have all of these invisible currents.
Not to mention, you sometimes have to go through an area more than once if you mess up, and there are enemies there, and if you kill the enemies, they goddamn respawn, and so there's just no way to make a run easier.
Yeah, there was a moment up there
where you need to go, because I did this so much. I have to work out a whole strategy for this.
Oh, let's just hope I survive this. 2, 1.
No. No.
Oh, God! Oh, man, that was...
Oh, you made it? Oh, yeah. I hate the delay in these situations. I can't believe you made it. I forgot that there's like a delay between the
there was like 5 seconds between number 0 and actual death.
Yeah.
Which is good because there is practically no air in this stage except for the tubes and occasional drop-off areas. So I'm gonna grab air just to be safe. And then I'm gonna, I don't know, take the Cheaty Knuckles way to get through this. Because
it is so good that you decided to play this before the stream.
I am very happy I did.
Otherwise, we'd just be sitting here for like a half an hour.
Okay, air. Okay, let's just wall climb. Because I spent probably 20 minutes trying to deal with this stage in my first run through.
I stopped playing the game, then came back to it the next day.
Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this.
Okay,
button. I got the button. I can get the
excellent
special stage now. After I hopefully get air. Okay, come on, air. Where's air? I need air. Can I?
Oh, God damn it. You know, funny thing is, I'm pretty sure that's, I think that might be one of the, no, that was a legit Chaos Emerald one, I think, yeah. Okay. I think that's like one of the only Chaos Emerald ones I actually found on my run through this.
Okay, I know I can get through the bottom here, And then I believe there's a wall here that I can pass through with the button. That I don't think... no. Oh... I need to see if I can find a way to go high and just see if I can... Okay, I'm down to count down. Let's see. I'm gonna have to use a tube. Can I... Oh!
Oh, boy.
You're so slow in it! The game was not designed for this. Okay. Or it was designed perfectly for being this slow.
I'm just happy to see that you're finally having some issues, because
I'm getting more air.
More trouble than this.
Okay. So if I remember how to do this correctly, I take this bottom path, and then I use the wall here, which I won't be able to do when I become Sonic. That's the other issue, is if you do glide with Knuckles, like, his animation of being done gliding is so long.
Yeah, I think it's even longer underwater.
Okay, please take me to a place where I can get back. Okay, I climb back up here. I at least have air now.
Chris, come on, you can do it, Chris. Although, you know, now that you failed to get all the Chaos Emeralds, why are you even trying?
Practice for the next run.
Oh, come on, you can do it. I believe in you.
Now, the first time I played this, I was able to get into the special stage, but I failed at getting the emerald again. So let's see if I can get this time.
Those speed tags can, like, at first in the early ones they help you, but then they just start sending you in the wrong direction.
You have to look ahead and just try to get some indication of, like... Oh. My problem is, you can't tell verticality. Like, you can sort of look at it and try to suss out what it might be, if it's supposed to be in the air or not. But because it's a rounded surface, it's hard to tell if it's actually in the air or if it's just farther to the left or right.
Well, there's that. There's also the simple fact that Game Gear just doesn't do sprite scaling very well.
No. Well, I mean it doesn't do sprite scaling at all. Like, it's not something it's capable of. Yeah,
like, 8-bit systems in general just can't do that.
It's why, like, I have a copy of, what's it called, Space Harrier for my Master System. It's borderline unplayable.
The 3D version's a bit kind of cool, at least.
Like, it's a fascinating thing. Like, I'm glad I own it, but it's not good. Okay, bottom one. Take me to where I need to go. Okay, let's take the lower one. I think that's the proper way.
Oh, hey, this is another thing I spent forever on. Oh, no.
And now, the worst maze. This took me an absolute ridiculous amount of time here.
I don't think this took me that long. Whoa.
So I'm gonna get the shield, and then, the problem is, it's difficult to kind of get a sense of where you need to go, because you're not going to the right. You're sort of going up, but not totally. They want you to go through here. And then from here you get a button. And then I believe after the button you can leave the area. Unless I just climb, and I got an unnecessary button last time. Come on, air.
I really do prefer how Triple Trouble looks to this game.
I will say, tubes is a running issue with Aspect Sonic Game Gear games. Like,
Yeah.
This isn't the only of their Sonic games that have strange mazes of tubes.
I think that my roommate Jet just played through all these games recently, and according to him, like, they all have this issue.
Yeah, they do. I don't know why.
I don't remember the Triple Trouble one being that bad, but it's also been a long time since I've played that part of the game.
Now, it may be an attempt to kind of play off of how, like, the Genesis Sonic games also had tubes. Like, let's not ignore that fact. It's just that they didn't have mazes made out of tubes. Like, the tubes were just a way for you to get from point A to point B, where point A is just through a piece of level. Where point A,
like
where the path is, whatever.
Yeah. Like, the chemical plant, that had tubes, but, like, those tubes, for the most part, were just, like, a cool way to transition to the level.
Yeah. I don't know if this is how I was supposed to be going, or what, but... Okay.
Oh, I got stuck here today.
I'm trying to think of how Sonic would do this, although I imagine Sonic would just go down.
I remember what you're supposed to do, but should I tell you?
Oh, let's find... Let me see if I can figure it out.
Alright. Well, you found a switch, so that's good.
Yeah, I'll go in whatever this is. Oh, that just took me to the top. Good. Great. Now, you don't get a lot of information in this UI, but there is a 10-minute time limit according to the game. I think I just got
there is 10-minute time limit. That killed me a couple times in the water level. And hopefully you won't see it, but once you start to approach the end, it starts saying time's running out in these big letters. And then it says it more frequently, and then you die. Good. The boss. Finally, we're through the...
So, the boss's... Yeah, the boss's hitbox is kind of weirdly difficult to hit. And then he'll just sort of... The best way I found, as Knuckles at least, is to jump early and to glide.
This is probably a situation where Sonic would be easier.
With his double jump.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the difference between the two, is that they gave Knuckles his glide in climbing from Sonic and Knuckles, but they gave Sonic a double jump.
I think this was like the first game where he had a double jump.
This is kind of like a bad version of the Hydro City boss. Hydro City or Hydrocity?
I always say Hydro City, but whatever floats your boat, I guess.
The idea that you're underwater and you're kind of relying on the boss to make bubbles for you to actually breathe, and then...
Yeah.
And when you have a chance... Well, we're back to mazes. Let me think if I remember how to get to the ring of this one.
This gave me, like, positive vibes for, like, 10 seconds, and then I realized that there's, like... We'll see in just a second now, won't we?
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing where you have to jump on those things to power to fill up a bar, I think that's kind of neat. At least it's at least a unique gimmick for a Sonic game. But then you get to the actual level design.
The enemies are the issue in this one. Like, well, the level design's bad, but the enemies are just incredibly cheaply placed.
Yeah.
I think I should be going to the right here.
There's a thing in the next act that I cannot wait to complain about. Because, like, it takes the issue with the enemies and just turns it up to 11.
There was a point in that one where I just would die, like, 2 seconds into the stage. Just because of enemy placement.
And as we just saw, this game has portals. And that's the maze gimmick of this. You have to power the portals by jumping on those little platform thingies and filling up the red bar. And then the portals just take you to another part of the level and you have to figure out where they go. I just kept jumping on them until I got to the end.
There is a way. There is a proper path. Like, it... Oh, the
Yeah, I
enemy
know, but I'm
hitboxes
gonna
on
memorize
this. Like, it just feels like a crap shot if I actually hit them or if they hit me.
As Shig said, I do agree with what Shig is saying in the comments, with the graphics not being as bad as the level design. Like, if the visuals were, if the sprites were just smaller, and if the levels were just, you know, had actual, like, oh, hey, spike levels are in this age. You can realize that.
Yeah, there's some spike wall things that you have to run from and hope that you don't get hit by the enemies that you can't see!
And the spike walls are so goddamn glitchy, and there's no good way to get away from them. because if you try to spin dash away, you'll just hit an invisible wall because you can't progress until the spike walls start moving.
Ugh.
Oh wow, Supersonic! I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, Supersonic is one of the, it's like... Here we go, this is the one where I die in 2 seconds.
Oh, right. Oh,
So-
because that one enemy. Yeah, now I remember.
The jump early on! Oh, God,
Okay,
good, thank God.
Chris, you have to spin dash. Just spin dash, you'll be fine. No, okay, I guess that worked. But I figured out I guess I had to spin dash.
I just did jumps. Jumps is fine. It worked.
Spin dash in this is kind of laggy.
Oh, I have to find... oh no. I think I missed the, bonus ring for this one.
Oh, well.
I also think I'm gonna die.
Oh, wrong way.
I survived,
You're gonna die.
and then I died! I don't know where you're supposed to hit half of these enemies.
Well, with the enemies with the spiky things around, you gotta hit him on the head. The same thing with the ones that have the spiky pogo sticks. And those enemies with the guns, you always have to hit him from the bottom to make sure they don't shoot you. You know, I do not have any patience for those electric trap things.
I'm having very little patience with all of the things. These rings that I have to jump to collect right before a speed trap.
You know, this is even the only part of the game where that happens, I think. Man, don't put speed traps in your Sonic games. That should be like a level design rule. Ooh, come on, you can get away. Oh, damn it. Man, I just thought that you'd be having more issues. Oh shit! I thought you'd be having more issues with the water levels in this. But this is just destroying you.
Like I said, I needed all of those extra levels. Okay, let's see if I can get the emerald at least. Okay. Criminy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't see how you're supposed to avoid those spikes. That seems just pointlessly cruel. Okay, can I at least get 3 emeralds in this run?
I do kind of get the impression that this was just slapped together in like 6 months or something. Like they were definitely focusing on the graphics for this one for some reason, which is such a shame. Because Aspect spent years figuring out how to do a Sonic level in the Sonic game on the Game Gear. Then they figured it out, and then they threw it all out for pre-rendered graphics.
Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate here.
Okay, just blaming the graphics isn't fair, but it does seem to me like that's where all the development effort went.
I suppose, like, this was not nothing.
Oh.
These special stages probably required some amount of effort to figure out how to make it work. Also, I'm back
definitely.
at the beginning of the stage again. Great.
So I guess it only happens when you fail to get the emerald.
Or just
Good to know.
succeed at getting the emerald, or just, I don't know.
Now, one thing I wonder about is whether or not
no, stop!
whether or not you can get the
Oh, come on!
oy.
Okay, I'm at 0.
Do the rings? Do you have any idea if the rings respawn if you fail and they send you back?
I don't know. I'm just trying to avoid this thing. Okay.
Okay, now there's an enemy up there. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh. It's getting to me. It was getting to me the practice game I played earlier today. It's still getting to me.
When I was playing the latter levels of this game today and yesterday, I could feel myself wanting to break something, and I had to make sure I didn't accidentally break my 3DS because I wanted to break something.
Wait, which way? It's going this way. Okay.
That hinge is on 3DS is kind of fragile. Ooh. Okay. All right. You can do it, Chris. You can do it.
I already did it.
Oh.
Okay.
Now, like, see that this thing we have to fill up that bar. That's not the worst Sonic gimmick.
No, I'm generally okay with it. It's not great, but it's something.
Yeah. And like every now and then, Aspect actually did introduce some pretty interesting Sonic gimmicks in their other games. Like,
I keep hearing we keep saying that, and I keep wanting to think. I feel like I'm just saying Aspic.
Am I saying Aspic or Aspect?
I think I'm saying. I think we're both saying Aspect. It's just that the more I say it, the less meaning that word has. I was like, am I talking about meat jelly? I don't know.
But like Triple Trouble especially has some really cool gimmicks.
Well, we made it to the final boss.
Yes, which is super easy. Like even easier than the other bosses.
It
is.
Of
course, it is hard to get to, I think.
Now there is a what's it called? A final boss if you do get all the emeralds.
Oh, so there is actually some value to an emerald run in this. I was not aware of that.
Yes. Now, if I can't get that thing over fast enough, then basically I have to jump to avoid this. But I'm running left and right in the opposite direction to basically make it bounce back at him. I can't really jump because I have something blocking me, if you'll take a look. Like a really quick clear, hey, here's a force field block thing.
Yeah. Huh, I didn't actually notice that before. Neat. Now, if only, like, if Robotnik could, like, just come up with a better way of shooting you, this would actually be a pretty good death trap.
Yeah,
Instead, he just has a mirror up there for some reason.
It's kind of a weird fight, but, like, you need to react pretty quick to what he's doing. Yeah.
It's at least unique, which, like, this is when Aspect's Sonic game design is at its most interesting.
Okay.
Is when they're doing something that clearly wouldn't have been in the classic games. Or other 16-bit games.
Woo!
Congratulations!
I almost clapped into a microphone. I'll clap away from a microphone.
Yeah, Knuckles is super duper happy. And now we're gonna get the ending game cutscene.
Yep.
Which I guess this will be my third time seeing it. Oh, hey, it took place in the Death Egg.
So the story of this, which I brought up previously from the manual, is like, hey, an island appeared, and it's Robotnik's island, so Sonic and Knuckles went to go take it down, and apparently, I don't know, Death Egg's there as well.
This is a pretty neat scene, too, in my opinion. Like, They do kind of try to make it look cinematic, which is pretty rare for something on the Game Gear.
There aren't a lot of memorable songs in. I would say a lot of the Aspect developed Game Gear games. Like there's like a handful of exceptions. I would say the special stage music in this is pretty solid. But
I would argue that. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I would argue that Aspect's music in general has been quite good, as well as Ancient's music for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. This is probably one of the worst examples of an Aspect soundtrack in the Sonic game, in my opinion.
Now, like, hey, special thanks to Aspect All Staff. But yeah, I have a deep love of, well, I have a deep respect / appreciation of, the very first Sonic Master System / Game Gear game.
Yeah, that was clearly a game that was made before they even knew what Sonic Complete was gonna be.
Kinda, sorta.
Like, that game doesn't even have a loop-de-loop, I don't think.
I don't believe so, no. So, we did a, Knuckles run, so we have time until 9. Let's go on a Sonic run and see if we can,
do the inferior Sonic character, Sonic.
Wait, what's that about, Silver?
No, I said Sonic. Like, yeah, like, Sonic is better than Silver, but in this game, Sonic is the inferior one. Now, in my opinion, the Sonic sprite in this looks way worse than the Knuckles one, and that's not me being a fanboy.
No, it's not great. Like, it looks... Here's the thing. Knuckles' sprite looks like they just tried to model it after Sonic 3D Blast. Or, I'm sorry, Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah.
Sonic sprite looks like they tried to model it after Sonic 3D Blast, which it does not work.
Man, and then there's that animation pose we just saw. Looks like he's flipping people off.
Oh yeah, let's just very quickly take a look at his idle animation.
Like, it just looks kind of awkward.
Also, his blue is the same shade as the ocean. So it's a good thing he has so many varied colors in him.
You mean he's shining? Like, one of my biggest issues with mid-2000s Sonic is that he looks like a shiny plastic toy, and that's exactly the vibe I get from Sonic in this thing.
I don't know. I'm thinking back to Sonic Adventure DX, and that's the shiniest of Sonics. The shiniest and most plastic of Sonics.
Oh yeah, I said mid-2000s. That does include DX. DX, Heroes, and Shadow. To be specific.
I will say this.
Oh, and Riders.
I kind of think I prefer Sonic in this though, just because of the double jump.
Well, I will say that the double jump is probably more useful than the glide in this, and like, especially since Knuckles' climb was even like work all the time.
Yeah.
Which I didn't see that too much in your playthrough, but yeah, it's pretty glitchy. That is, again, something that tells me that either the Game Gear probably couldn't completely handle it, or Aspect just didn't have the time to polish it.
Yeah. Oh, gotta get it.
Does that Robotnik box even do anything?
I don't think it does. I think it's just a random one. It's like, oh, you lost the slot machine spin. I'm just playing super cautious here so I don't get hit on my way to the special stage. Okay. I know I can get the first one. They don't give you a lot of extra rings in these. Like, I think if they give you 60, I would be surprised in the whole of the stage. So if you miss, like... Okay, these are airborne, but I don't know where. I'm just gonna have to guess.
I'll also say I find Sonic's pre-rendered model in the special stages to kind of be more impressive looking, although I guess that's just because of the spikes. Like, it does kind of look like it's kind of a down-res version of what you got in the Genesis games.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess that they probably just copied it. Like, they just retraced it in 8-bit. Sort of
for
like...
the Game Gear, that's still impressive.
I'm less impressed by pre-rendered stuff anymore. Like,
I mean, yeah, like these days, of course, but like...
Knowing what actually goes into doing that is a lot less impressive now. It's like, oh...
1997 me was blown away by this stuff. I was like, man, it's like Donkey Kong, but on the Game Gear.
Yeah, 2020 of me thought, yeah, you guys probably thought you were doing Toy Story, but you weren't.
Although Toy Story on the Genesis does have pretty impressive pre-rendered graphics.
Yeah, but at the very least, it made sense for how they looked, if for no other reason than it matched the visuals of the movie itself pretty well, which is to say, very simple. Man, you know what thinking about that now, you know I'm depressed never got a game that probably should have got a game at some point? The TV cartoon series Reboot.
Wow, that never did get a game, did it?
And it seems like, it seems like it would be just built to have a game.
A PlayStation game, at least. I'm looking this up.
I mean, I have like 5 video games, some of which are ports of I don't know, like early 2000s, what is it, like a Korean animated series, Cubics?
Oh yeah, that was on 4Kids.
It was on 4Kids. I don't know why I was into that series, but I think it was because that robot looked cool. Like, that's one thing that series had, is that all the people looked terrible. A lot of the side robots looked cool, but the main character robot looked real cool for that specific era of 3D animation.
So, Reboot did have a video game.
Really?
On the PlayStation, yeah. And it got it got a 69.5% on game rankings.
Nice.
Out of 6 reviews.
Nice.
Yeah, that would have surprised me. If this cartoon never got a game, because it lasted for 4 seasons. Like, fun fact, I thought that the cliffhanger for the second season was the series finale for about 10 years.
Oh,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea it got more seasons. I thought it just ended on a cliffhanger. I was so pissed.
No, they didn't Sonic Sat-Am you for that one.
They did for season 4, though, which is one reason why I haven't seen the remaining seasons. It's still got cliffhanger, apparently.
Oh, and then they did what they did.
Oh yeah, they rebooted it as a crappy live-action show for Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, you can do this.
Well, this is just for the extra life.
Oh!
I'm only on Act 1.
I keep forgetting that.
Oh, I can't tell if they're in the air or not!
Okay, come on, you can do this. Get that extra life.
Come on. Also, it's good practice for the actual thing itself. Oh, I'm gonna get it this time. At least this one. Although this one was the one I at least got on the first try. There we go. What a dopey-looking extra life symbol.
But playing through this game just kind of makes me appreciate Sonic Triple Trouble more.
Yeah, I mean, it's an okay game. Like, again, my one of the Game Gear games, my 2 of the Game Gear games are always going to be the original Sonic 1 and Tails Adventure. Those are my boys. But
Tails Adventure is the real Sonic game. That's a Tails game, doesn't count.
But I know, it's better than most of the other Game Gear Sonic games. They made a Metroidvania game.
Yeah. I get the appeal of the original, but I'll always have a preference for Triple Trouble. But what was I gonna say? Crap, forgot.
I think the original has some just solid novelty to it more than anything. Like, just it has great music,
especially the bridge level.
The art is a little bit more simple than they tried to get in later ones, and I think I like that a bit better.
One thing I like about the sprite animation that is Sonic's nose, because it's like right up against his face, and then when he runs, it bends down. Like that's not a detail you ever get in Sonic games.
Okay.
And this thing is just like hard plastic.
Okay, this is the special stage where I have to use the bizarre warping craters, right? Because I'm...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet. I just got an extra life.
Nice.
I will need them, as previous playthroughs have shown. Okay, this one's near the end, so I don't need to worry too much about exploration yet, because I'm going to have to get there come hell or high water. So
now that I'm aware that this game has an actual plot that involves Sonic and Knuckles going to an island to stop Eggman,
you're being awfully generous.
I can have a headcanon where the island was once home to a race of four-legged dog Nobians.
I prefer to believe it was, let's see.
Built pyramids.
Come on. Good. Good. No! Stop that! Okay. Wait.
Nothing like some schadenfreude.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I have to go this way. Okay. And then I jump diagonally there. Good.
One thing I might remember from... One thing I kind of remember from when I was a kid about this game that I'm not sure is accurate is those white dots that shoot out from Sonic when he double jumps. Do those destroy enemies or anything?
I can't remember.
Like, I feel like I remember that happening, but my brain tends to remember all sorts of stupid things that didn't actually happen, so... I don't trust it. You gotta try that out next time we got some enemies.
I'll take a look.
Yeah,
although it'd be hard to kind of judge whether it's that or whether it's just the bounce that's doing it. 3 more rings, come on. 1, 2, 3, yes! And some extras.
Excellent.
So that's 2 emeralds.
Good. Just what? 4 more to go? I forget if it's 6 or 5.
3 more. There's only 5 worlds in this, which means there's really only 10 stages and 5 boss stages. And it also means that I'm back at the beginning of the level.
Boo.
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
I mean, that's the ethos of this game, is why did they do that? Like, we're never going to get a good, satisfactory answer.
I mean, we could if we, like, tracked them down and asked.
Oh, that's something that's never gonna happen.
Just go on a manhunt in Japan.
Don't describe it as a manhunt!
I mean...
We're hunting the most dangerous game, the Game Gear developer.
Aren't we looking for criminals, though? Aren't we looking for the people who made this thing?
Look, yes, this is not a good game, but it's hard for me to be that hard on the people who also made one of my favorite Sonic games, Tails Adventure. Like,
did they really make Tails Adventure?
They did.
Some other developer.
No, they made Tails Adventure, but some other team did. A different team made Tails Sky Patrol.
Ah, that was. I never played that one. Is that crappy?
It's really difficult, and it's very weird. I don't know, you might like it because it is sort of arcadey.
Ah, I do like arcade. I think I've only ever, like, read a review of that game, and, like, the reviewer didn't care for it, but they've been wrong before.
I mean,
I do technically have access to it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, if you have Sonic Adventure DX for GameCube, you have all of these games.
I mean, I have a flash drive. Oh, hey, your favorite boss. I have a flash cartridge for the Game Gear that I have that on. So I have multiple ways I can play it. I can play it on the legit system.
So what's this about hunting down criminals?
You know, the people who made the game.
Or the people who are stealing the game?
No. The people who made the game are the criminals. Actually, I guess if I calling it a manhunt.
Anyhow, I'm up to 6 lives. I don't think that will be enough. Although, I made it without using a continue the last playthrough.
Like, what is he even doing when he's twitching one of his feet and he's like...
Well, to me
awkward.
To me it kind of... Oh, you mean the sparkly double jump?
No. The victory animation / idle animation.
I don't know. I'd have to double check his because I haven't been paying close enough attention to it, which is weird because I paid really close attention to the Knuckles one.
That's kind of surprising because I'm pretty sure the Sonic one is weirder. I mean,
I don't know. I'm just blasting through this stage at this point. It's like, I don't know.
This is an easy
just take damage. Take damage and take me to the end. Okay, this one, the special ring is down a slope and then up a slope and then across a gap. Okay, so I just need to look for that big slope. Oh, this is irritating as hell. Just, this is... The previous stage, okay, I'll give it sort of a pass. This stage, I am not as willing to give it a pass, if for no other reason than they put enemies in, like, prime, you can't see this coming positions.
Yeah, but at the very least, well, like, at the very least, the one above those red bouncy things are a bit easier to hit with Sonic, I think, because it's double jump.
Either way, I got an extra life, so yay.
Yay.
Let's throw that away in the next 2 stages.
So I know I said those things looked like dog bowls when I was a kid, but now that I actually see them on a big screen,
they're just really freaking weird looking robots.
Yeah, they're not concave. That red part is not concave at all.
Okay, down and up and leap over the gap here. Didn't make it. Let's try again. There's possibly one of the values of having respawning enemies is that whenever you need to do something like this, it's just right there. But I just passed through him and didn't bounce. Okay. Okay, come on. There we go.
Congratulations.
Okay, Emerald time. We're gonna do it this time.
Yes, you're gonna do it. Come on, Chris. You're not gonna fuck up. Oops, sorry. You're not gonna mess up. You're gonna do this. You missed that spring. That's not good. Come on.
Okay, come on. Air ones! Halfway there. Avoid the bumper. Oh, those are in the air! Come on! You kind of wait until they seem to get sort of...
There's no way that you should have missed those, as far as I'm concerned. That's some bull crap right there.
Come on. Ah!
Come on. Dang it. Man, there's, like, at the very least, like, there's, like, not...
I know. Oh, Alex. You just really, really roboted there for a sec.
Yeah,
Try saying something again.
My connection's being a little spotty. Sorry. I said that at the very least, like, you know, like, it's not as fast and doesn't have as many fail bomb things or red
You can't
spheres
lose
as-
rings. You can only gain rings. But the
Yeah, but there's a-
perspective just really ruins you.
yeah.
So we'll do a round of this. We'll finish it with Sonic, and then I don't know. Maybe some other day we'll jump in and play another round of this beautiful, wonderful game that I have only but glowing things to say about it. In the same way that embers are glowing.
Ooh. I mean, it's not the worst Sonic game.
I think we can hold it to a little bit better standards than that.
It's not Sonic Jam on the Gamecom.
Nothing is Sonic Jam on the Gamecom. Diabetes isn't Sonic Jam on the Gamecom.
I'm trying to figure out what this game would be better than. I hesitate to say Sonic Labyrinth because I've actually heard at least one person defend that game.
Oh, that person is a bad person who only wants to hurt you.
I think the defense was, yeah, it's not a good Sonic game, but it's a decent Marble Madness type game.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
I guess no, it's really slow and annoying.
It's really slow and annoying.
Alright, so maybe this is better than Sonic Labyrinth.
Like, Sonic Labyrinth is the bad cousin of Kirby's Star Course.
I remember I've only picked that up because it looked like Sonic 3D Blast. I thought that looked kind of interesting.
You mean Kirby's Star Course?
No. Sonic 3D Blast. It looked like Sonic 3D Blast to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Kirby's Star Course. Which I
Oh,
don't...
no. I didn't even buy a Kirby game until I was an adult.
Kirby Star Course is available on multiple platforms. It is a SNES game, and I cannot really recommend the single player, but I think the multiplayer is fantastic.
I have heard good things about the multiplayer from, I think Antdude is the Kirby YouTube guy? Antdude.
I don't know. Like, my version of YouTube is, these are people... My version of YouTubers that I watch are like, oh, these people started on a different platform that I really enjoyed, and then they went to a different platform later. Like, I still watch The Angry Video Game Nerd pretty regularly.
Interesting.
Everything that, well, not everything, but most everything that kind of spawned off of The Escapist. And, I don't know, like, stuff that used to be on Penny Arcade TV.
Well,
Yeah.
these days I do a lot of YouTube gamer people, like not PewDiePie gamer, but like actual good gamers who
People who
talk
have
about
things
all
to
sorts
say.
of- yeah, who, like talk about all these kind of retro games, and platformers, and Nitro Rad, and Nancy, dude. But moving away from the YouTube.
People who
discussion.
probably won't lose a Disney contract because they were racist on air. Although, who knows? Who knows anymore?
For PewDiePie.
Oh, no, he's also racist.
Oh, did he do a racist thing too?
Yeah, he didn't... he used words that I would not repeat on my channel. That...
Oh, yeah, you should not repeat those words. Like, I would not expect you to.
No, very specific, like... I wouldn't feel the worst, like, I try to keep this PG, and I'm probably gonna bleep you whenever this goes to YouTube, just because that's how that is, but,
Okay, I'll pause for that one curse word I slipped. But yeah, like, these are gamers who actually are, like, informative and interesting. God, I probably sound like such an old man to any young people right now.
I mean, compared to the current, like, I don't know, compared to most streamers, we're probably older than most of them. I remember cartoons that they don't.
Like Animaniacs.
Oh, they'll well, I'm still very curious what's going to happen with that new Animaniacs cartoon.
I really hope it's good.
Me as well.
Oh, joy, we're back in this.
Okay, so I take this one, and
You know,
then I have to jump at the end, and then...
there's one kind of cool effect that Aspect would do in these games where you could spin dash and then skip across the water.
Hey, first try! First try, baby!
I think that's also technically possible in this one. Like, I remember doing that in the Green Hill stage.
I've never tried.
I think it was like one of the first things I did when I was a kid. I was like, "Ooh, cool! You can skip across the water," but like,
Well, which of the I thought you could do that in one of the Genesis games, but which one?
I don't remember.
Oh, there was one of them where you... Hydro City Zone. Because there were, like, sections that you would just run over top of it instead of, going underneath.
Oh, yeah. You can run across water in that, yeah, but I don't think you can, like, in the Aspect game, can you spin dash over the water, you will, like, skip across it like a rock. And if you have enough momentum, I think you can actually get to the other side, although I usually don't.
Yeah, well, in this game in particular, like, if they have it, there's not a lot of actual opportunities to use it.
There's, like, just that one area in Green Hill Zone, and that's it, I think. Because the water areas here are not wide open enough.
Well, yeah, you just spend all of your time in the water. Like, you don't spend any time out of it.
You know what really sucks about the water levels in this game?
Everything?
In Triple Trouble, they at least kind of alleviated the issues of a Sonic water level by giving you
look at that balancing pose! Look at that pose! Oh, that's astounding. By the way,
I'm surprised that's the first time you've noticed that in this. It's pretty common.
Come on, I have to go right to go on top of that, because if I don't, also I'm gonna die.
I am a little further behind than I thought I was. I thought like you're talking about the thing Sonic would do when he's falling down while walking. But yeah, the balancing pose, that's I guess that's goofy.
Well, even like the Genesis games occasionally had that. I am walking and also falling down, but okay, I think I'm just supposed to take the bottom one or something. Okay. I need to stop partway for air if I can.
I think one reason why I can't associate this game with both have Sonic drawn in a really weird way. I guess kind of accentuates how weird his face is for.
Yeah, well, like it's just. It looks like they. I mean, it looks like they just made a bad 3D render of him and then took a picture of it, and that's what you get. Like that's. Oh, that slow that slow frame rate transition of him sort of jumping. Like normally it goes really fast that you can't in the Genesis games. It's kind of like how I mentioned the shield, where it sort of relies on building the illusion of him spinning with a transparency through the use of just like really taking advantage of the frame rate and just sort of tricking it to alternate really fast. Look how slow his transition is between the ball animation, or the ball frame of animation, and the sort of out of ball curled up animation. It's just
yeah, it looks awkward as heck, and I would not be surprised just because this game is pushing the Game Gear a bit too hard.
Again, you keep saying that, but I'm not sure it actually is. Like, once you flatten a sprite, you don't actually really render it in any crazy way unless it's doing some really weird stuff with palettes.
I do know that that pre-rendered sprites do tend to push the color palettes and stuff more than regular sprites built for the console.
Can I? Nope. I forgot I'm not Knuckles. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, I don't know, go the long way. What will this game permit me to do? Hopefully it will permit me to breathe. Okay.
Come on, game, let him breathe. Let him breathe. There you go.
You may want to refresh your stream.
Am I that far behind again?
You might be. Okay, so then I jump to this, and I can use... no. But it can take me over top. Come on, I need air. Probably. Okay, so now I can go through the wall here.
So would you say that Sonic is easier or more difficult than Knuckles in this level?
That's a really tough question. Like, I still think I prefer the double jump over his glide, because Knuckles' glide is really, really slow in this level. Like, it takes him a really long time to get up, but to just get up after he hits the ground. But at least with Sonic, it's like, it's just there. Okay, let's see if I can.
You also had an easier time getting to getting that special ring. So
yeah. Come on, give me those rings! Come on, man! Oh, I don't think I'm getting this one.
Maybe one day, Chris. You just have to practice. You have to train. You have to train for Sonic Blast.
I would like to not, please. Oh.
Hey, this is what you've brought upon yourself with this whole play almost every Sonic thing. You gotta do the Emerald Run eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Who knows? Maybe when you do the Master System versions of this, you'll be able to get all the emeralds.
I mean, who knows? Maybe whenever we get to the end of it, I can just save state it. I'm not above that.
Oh, well, I don't know. You've been above that so far.
Well, I've been above that for playing the game. Like, I don't know if I'll stay above that as we go further.
I stayed like hell when I was playing this recently. Like I did not have the patience for this goddamn level. especially when sometimes I even had difficulties just getting to the checkpoint. I just make my own gosh darn checkpoints.
Yeah.
That's what save 6 or 4, Chris.
I'm aware. Okay, and actually, my Retron does support save states, so... I hate this part. Okay. Need air. Just run at the bottom, get the air, and then start climbing. Darn it!
Jason.
Why did you do that? Game, why did you... Oh!
Jason finally got through Act 1 of Blue. But anyway, I think I interrupted myself, or you interrupted me earlier. One thing that Triple Trouble did that I really wish this game had done with the water levels was it at least it introduced the Sea Fox for Tails.
Yeah.
That made these kinds of games a little more, these kinds of levels a little more tolerable. And Sonic also had a scuba suit.
I'm gonna die again.
Oh man. I'm sorry, Chris.
I mean, I expected to, let's be honest. Like, we knew going into this stage that, yeah, this would be the one where I die all of the time.
So, how much are you suffering playing through this game twice in a row?
I mean, it gets slightly easier as I go. It's just that all of the parts where it pushes against you as a player are just amplified the more I have to deal with them. I've seen some online playthroughs of this game before. There are some people that are quite competent at it. Much in the same way that, I don't know, AVGQ exists and continues to exist and shames us all.
I mean, there are people who are quite competent at Superman 64. Some people just specialize in these kinds of games. But man, like, when I suggested this, like, 3 weeks ago, I suggested because I thought it would be a nice, boring, simple game that, like, wasn't gonna be too stressed, because I completely forgot about this level. You know, like, I thought I was doing you a solid.
Yeah, normally whenever you try to help me and do me a solid, it seems to end up this way.
Well, what's important is the intent, not the result.
No, the result's pretty important.
I mean, maybe for you, but not for me.
Oh, I'm so glad that the way that you were attempting to help me isn't too bad for you.
I mean, I don't know, like
don't.
I did play through the game so that I'd be ready for this, and I was not a huge fan of that.
Okay.
Like, if I wanted you to suffer, I would have just picked Spinball for the Game Gear, because I remember that being pretty awful.
It's not great, but
like, I think, now that I remember that, I think that was one of the Sonic games I would rate worse than this. So let's see, so Sonic 06...
I mean, you say that, but you are also... Here's the thing is, like, you're also not good at Sonic Spinball to begin with.
True, but, like, that's because Sonic Spinball on the Genesis is really hard. But at least that's, like, the first level that is, like, playable. Like, I remember the physics in the Game Gear version being just broken.
Now, I seem to have, for some reason, consumed the air before it existed.
Well, Sonic is fast. He probably just broke time or something.
He's not fast underwater.
So I would say this game is superior.
There we go.
I mean, the obvious suspects like Shadow, Sonic 06.
I don't know if I would give it the...
Yeah.
Shadow's sort of playable.
I hate Shadow a lot.
Listen, so... I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a good game.
Like, Shadow, I tend to put up there with Sonic 06. I don't consider that to be playable at all. Like, I tried playing through it recently, and it was causing me physical pain.
You know what? That's fair. I haven't played it in a while. It could be worse than I remember.
Well, just like this was for me. You know?
Okay.
So,
just to take this upper route.
So, 06, Shadow, Sonic Jam, and Sonic Spinball on the Master System / Game Gear.
I can't wait until we get into some of the really bizarre, obscure stuff.
Oh, yeah. Although, I do, as a Sonic fan, I'm not entirely sure what would be considered bizarre /
I have some...
Obviously the Pico games and the Waku Waku police car thing.
That's one I don't know if I will be able to do.
Well, you can just emulate that, I think.
As long as I can get it to work. I've never had especially great luck with getting what's it called, a MAME or anything to cooperate with me. Like, I've read guides, it's like, hey, you just put it in and then you do a thing.
Would we consider Sonic Fighters to be a Sonic Championship to be an obscure game at this point?
It's a bit out there, but it has gotten an HD re-release.
Yeah. And Sonic R, there's, like, that's weird, but you definitely can't call that obscure.
People kind of know about Sonic R. Like, it's... In some ways, it's almost infamous for its soundtrack.
Or is it just famous? Depends on the musical taste, I
No,
suppose.
just infamous.
I like it. The soundtrack.
Listen,
very mid-90s.
I like it, but it is of a very specific style that may not go with the type of game it is.
I guess Sonic and Christmas Nights would be considered pretty.
Sorta. Like, hey, like I have some options lined up that are going to be very bizarre. That you're like, wait, you're calling this a Sonic game? Is like, yeah, I can interact with the franchise with it. It's not just like Sonic as a statue appearing. It's. Oh right, that.
You should still just play Daytona USA just to show off that Sonic thing on the mountain.
I mean, I don't necessarily need a great excuse to just play Daytona USA. Daytona USA is still Daytona USA.
But I guess, like, Virtua Striker 2 will fall under the whole...
Oh, let's not reveal all of my cards. Alex, your signal is losing again.
Okay.
Okay, come on. Give me one. Give me one. Give me an emerald.
You can
do
it.
Final emerald.
Come on.
I can get this emerald. Yes. Give me an emerald so that Alex doesn't have to swear on camera again.
Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. My Discord just disconnected and reconnected. So.
41, 42, 43, 44. 5 for 6 for 7. 8 for 9, 50!
Yeah!
I made it to 3 emeralds, which is 1 more than I did last time.
If only you could have gotten 2 more.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I mean, at a bare minimum, you got 3 of the emeralds, so it's not like we're back to conquer the world or whatever.
Let's see. It's like, I've stalled his ability to complete his gachapon set.
I am surprised that this has a boss battle locked behind the emeralds, because the past games, your games didn't do stuff like that.
No, but the games that this game was inspired by definitely did. Actually, 3D Blast itself, though, didn't. Now that I think of it.
No, that just had the same boss battle regardless. I don't even think it had a different ending.
Just Sonic and Knuckles.
Well, doesn't Sonic 2 do something a little different?
Sonic 2, you do get Supersonic. I'm trying to think if, like, at the end he transforms and then, you just get an animation of him transforming at the end in a slightly different pose. Oh, I need to charge that one, and then I can probably escape this nightmare. Okay. Okay. Another thing I think I'll say about this game is that the physics in this aren't as good as the other Game Gear games. At least some of the later ones. Yeah, I mean, the Game Gear physics, generally speaking, are great, but...
Well, Triple Trouble and Sonic Chaos and Sonic 2 all do a decent approximation of what Sonic's physics are supposed to be. This one, like, the rolling down a hill, like, barely works. It's still there. But, like, you're never going to rely on it because the level design just doesn't encourage it anyway. But even if it did, it wouldn't be very good.
Okay, almost there.
Robotnik's sprite in this does look not too far off from the 3D Blast sprite.
It has that similar look to it, and specifically, he's a lot bigger in this.
Yeah.
Like the scale seems kind of wonky. Where the scale is at least to his scale in 3D Blast.
Man.
Almost there.
This is a ridiculously easy boss fight. I don't think I've ever beaten this with Sonic before. So, the ending cutscene for this will be new for me, at least.
There we go.
Yay!
True ending. Canonical.
Yes, because of course, Eggman doesn't die in these games. He can't die.
Do you think
he always escapes?
Do you think Sega consider? Okay, let's go into a conversation that I will hate, but let's discuss it anyway. Do you think I got some of them. Do you think Sega considers these games, any of the Game Gear games, canonical in any way?
No.
Okay.
I can just confirm that because when I was interviewing Takashi Iizuka a while ago for Sonic Generations, and he was all like, "We're going the portable version of Generations is going to go over the history of the portable games." And I asked him, "Oh, great! So this thing will be getting levels from the Game Gear games?" And he just kind of laughed. So that tells you all you
absolutely
need to know
not, and you were a fool to ask me.
And I think this was the same interview where I called Eggman Robotnik, and I think that confused him a bit. I was still learning back in 2011.
Boy. You know what? Fair. That's not a lot of names to be honest. Like, that's not this game definitely seems like a much smaller team than the lengthy credits that were associated with, like, Sonic 2.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't that just like 3 or 4 names?
It was not a lot, so, yeah, that is Sonic Blast twice. Once with Knuckles, once with Sonic. It's not a very long game. We beat it 2 times within 2 hours.
One thing I don't think you showed was that little Chaos Emerald opening animation.
We did briefly. I think it was there. It played.
I always thought that was kind of cool looking when I was a kid, because it looks like a legitimate polygonal element, even though I'm like 100% sure
for what we understood polygonal to mean at that point.
Like, it looks like it may have been, like, pre-rendered or something.
I mean, it was absolutely pre-rendered, but you mean not pre-rendered.
Well, I mean, like, normally cutscenes on cartridge games are done in-engine, and this did not look in-engine. Look kind of like how you might consider the CG stuff in Sonic 3D Blast, except way less advanced.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I have no idea what you're talking about. So.
Oh, the CG opening movie from Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, you mean how it's just giant pages of sprites that they cycle through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they make it look like an FM.
Sort of. Like it didn't. It certainly couldn't. Okay, I'm very close to saying a compliment for the Sega CD, which is very dire.
Do it. Do it. It has some good stuff on it. Do it. Give it your little bit of praise.
Full motion video on the Sega CD was actually full motion video and not whatever the heck was at the beginning of Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah.
I don't think that I avoided a compliment and I just spoke in facts.
Close enough. I'll take it as a compliment. Traveler's Tales had to pull off some really impressive stuff just to fit that little bit of FMV on a Genesis character.
Yeah, much in the same way that it's really compressed whenever you hear an audio, like a vocalization in a, what's it called?
Yeah.
NES or SNES or Genesis game. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was Sonic Blast, and we played through the Game Gear version. I believe next time we are going to play, well, not next session. Next session, we have not yet determined what we're going to play. I believe we're going to have Jason Barry, who is a fellow writer on Sonic Stadium with you. Alex, am I correct?
What now? Sorry, I was reading Jason's comment.
I was giving you a chance to plug your writing. You're a writer with Jason Barry over at Sonic Stadium, are you not?
Sonic Stadium, yes, I am. And I do hope to have some Sonic movie articles up within the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for those. I just recently wrote up a little news article for the Sonic movies box office performance. $203 million. So
yeah, that sure did. A lot of money.
Yeah, Sonic kicked Harrison Ford's butt. Him and his creepy CGI dog.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie. I really can't speak to the quality, but yeah, that was a very, very fake looking dog. I don't know. It's the year of CG characters, CG cartoon characters in live action, I suppose.
I just wish they had just gone with a regular dog instead of trying to give it all these human mannerisms. Like that just put me off the entire movie.
I don't know. I didn't like the preview of it. I have not heard any impressions of it, and also it's past 9 o'clock.
The Sonic movie is doing slightly better on Rotten Tomatoes, so give you anyway, yeah, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Alex, if you don't wrap it up, I'm going to bring out a second Mad Libs because I do have a second one prepared if we had time.
I'm done. We're wrapping it up right now, aren't we?
We are wrapping it up right now. So thanks for all who tuned in, and again, until next time, this is Almost Every Sonic, and we are up, over, and gone. Peace out.